One.
KayFabe Smark Podcast. Welcome to the KayFabe Smark Podcast with Eric Todd and Brian Rafa.
I'm not getting the intro sound.
Your
You have it?
Smart Mark source for news and opinions on the world of professional wrestling.
Hold on. Hey, it is November 26th. This is Thanksgiving we're recording this on. This is episode 27 coming at you. We're going to talk Survivor Series. We're going to hang out and talk wrestling. Let's see what's going on with Eric on Turkey Day.
Yo, what's up, Brian? Just got done stuffing my guts. Thanksgiving, just always an excuse to overindulge. The kid just took off. He's out the gates. Figured sit down and pot it up, baby.
Pot it up. Yes, we are on. We are live. We are going. It is the 27th episode of the KayFabe Smark Podcast. This is the 26th. If you're listening to it live, and it'll be out on the 27th.
It is Thanksgiving as we're recording, but it'll go out to all of our wonderful markets, that being Spotify, Apple Music, Anchor, etc., tomorrow, Friday, November 27th at noon.
Yes. So make sure you guys jump on over to Instagram, the KayFabe Smark on Instagram, and Facebook, and TikTok, and we are pushing out the content, pushing out clips, pushing out some old school moments and on this day type stuff and birthdays, and just trying to stay up and involved in all things wrestling. So up first, before we dive into Survivor Series and what that was, I think we're going to have a little fun and do a little mini watch along on AEW Dark. If you were on the Instagram, you saw that I was teasing Eric, and we were going to do a watch along with this, and by God, we made it happen. It is episode 63 on YouTube of AEW Dark. It was the episode that just aired the other day, 11/24/20, episode 63. We are at 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 25 seconds. We're going to watch. Neither one of us have watched this.
No.
For the first time.
Hit me with this by surprise. I saw this come across my what was it, Instagram? You put it on?
Yeah.
I saw it come across my Instagram. I didn't even have to look twice at it. I saw the name of the match, Panda Express versus Jurassic Express, and I'm like, I'm fucking in. Let's do it.
I'm fucking in. It is Panda Express taking on Jurassic Express. I believe this stems out from BTE and such on the Being the Elite. I don't know. I'm not 100% all in there. There's just so much content, work, and kids that I can only consume. So, anyways, it's like a fight for the Express name, I think, is the gimmick they got going on here. Not sure what's going on, but if you're listening live, go ahead and get it ready. Hit pause, get it logged up here. Tuned in, YouTube, episode 63 of the AEW Dark. We're going to do a little mini watch along. Eric, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, we are at 1 hour, 44 minutes, 25 seconds. Panda Express taking on Jurassic Express, and we are going to see what this is all about. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, play, and we're going to get it going on 3, 2, 1, play. All right, get a little volume here.
All right, we got the intros included. I was hoping they'd be there.
Panda Express.
Oh boy.
Panda City Jones, Panda Express.
Oh boy. Look, is that Pizzeria Uno in a panda suit?
I am not sure who they got playing this. That other panda guy in the full mask. I don't know either one of these cats. I seen the one panda guy on I've seen him on the BTE before. That's why I'm thinking it's stemming from that, but I'm not sure his whole gimmick there. Him and Luchasaurus were doing a gimmick together. And then now we get your boys Lucha Express coming out.
No, Jurassic.
Oh, what I
Jurassic
said Lucha Express.
Brian
I
Rappa.
always get them confused. Yeah. Luchasaurus in Jurassic Express.
All right, so we got Luchasaurus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. As you see, Brian, the Glizzy Gobbler is still not with him.
Now, do
I
you think
wonder if he got written off TV for a while for gobbling that glizzy?
got the old bone and said, "I'm out. I am out." So we got Luchasaurus. Oh boy. This Panda Express is the gimmick that makes me cringe. While we're watching this, I'm going to see what I can't punch up on this Panda Express team. Panda Express Wiki.
I can't hear the commentary too well. Is Excalibur doing commentary? Because if he's not, I'm pretty sure that's him under the Panda mask.
Oh, no, he's doing commentary.
Ah, damn it.
Super Panda and Ultimo Panda. All right, let's see what we can look up here. Super Panda AEW. Let's see what this is all about as we watch this nonsense. Fandom, Super Panda, Pro Wrestling. Let's see what this guy's got to offer. Weight, 5'3", 189 pounds, from Mexico. Finisher, moves and signatures, managers, valets. This guy doesn't got much information going on here. Real Super Panda on Twitter. This is a...
Oh, God. This is like Orange Chicken. It's like Orange Cassidy and Panda just goofing off, rubbing his belly, not taking anything seriously.
Born and raised in the concrete jungles of Miami, Florida, now living in L.A. Super Panda.
God.
Joined Twitter in 2017 and has 700 followers. 706.
This is Orange Chicken. He hit the ropes twice, and he's already acting like he's tuckered out.
He's blown up.
He's blown up. He's gonna do some spots with Jack Perry, and then he's gonna roll his chunky ass over and let Excalibur get in there.
I'm trying to see if I can find some information on this cat. This was the one, this guy right here, Ultimo Panda, was the one that was on the BTE. Him and Luchasaurus. I remember seeing that before. All right, here's a little. I don't know. These guys are buried deep. Yeah. This is some deep indie stuff. I can't even do a quick internet search on these two cats. Let's get a little volume here for a minute.
Source and a vicious chop drop Super Panda.
Super Panda. A little hot shot to the face there by Luchasaurus.
Yeah, he's
throwing some potatoes.
I mean, the good thing about Panda Express is they make Luchasaurus and Jack Perry look like bona fide superstars.
Yeah.
Because these guys are just sloppy and clunky and
bad. They got the Winter is Coming advertisement down there in the bottom for that upcoming Dynamite they're really pushing hard. Ultimo Panda. This guy's not a pro wrestler. This is the joke part.
No.
Right?
This has to be. I feel like I could perform better than this.
This was the other guy Super Panda? Is that what it was?
I can't remember who.
Either way, the one without the sleeves can be a wrestler. I'll give it to him. I'll allow him to say he's a wrestler. This full panda guy in the basketball shorts and a panda mask.
But Panda Uno here.
Panda Uno. Orange
Panda
Chicken.
Uno's not doing a very good job.
You called him Orange Chicken, and I about died. Oh, I think it's John Tenta.
Drop.
I think it's John Tenta in there.
It could be. His corpse might have lost a little weight. R.I.P. John Tenta.
All right, we got a double panda team here. And Jack Perry's just so injured in the corner. Jack Perry could run circles around these guys. Why would he stand there like that?
Yeah, that's
if you're that hurt, lay down.
Who booked this shit for real? I understand Tony Khan's a fantasy booker. He's been booking matches in his bedroom since he was 12. But how could this be on anyone's list of fantasy bookings?
You know what we need to see is
we need
Ultimo
Panda Express.
Yeah.
We need Panda Express versus Jungle Express.
Jungle Express.
This is some fucking Beavis and Butthead shit.
It's yes, there was definitely some stoner things going on. Somebody hit a dispensary.
Oh, wait, I just called him Jungle Express.
You did.
What did you call him earlier?
I called him Lucha Express. Jurassic Express is the real name. Now we get the Luchasaurus in the ring. This guy is a monster. Like, he's in great shape.
He is.
He can do cool things in the ring, being, a giant. He's tall. He can do the lucha moves, if you will. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, he's awkward.
Do you think he's just not comfortable in his own skin in the ring, or what are you getting from him? When I watch him, I just think that he's feels like he has to do certain things, and he's not going with a flow. He doesn't have a flow. He's forcing something.
Yeah, we talked about this before. How he's the size of a monster, but he wants to do lucha. I was gonna say Luchasaurus things. He wants to do luchador shit. He had a little run in WWE developmental, and they didn't see anything in him. With a guy with that build, that look, that height, you got to be pretty bad if WWE doesn't even want to take a chance on you.
I mean, he can throw these kicks. It's impressive for a big guy. I just can't figure out why he's just not clicking and running. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of got this thing. A goofy gimmick is not helping him.
And
all right,
these two amateurs in the ring with him definitely.
That was what the hell was that?
Whoa, that was an armpit breaker.
Armpit breaker, and then a hip bump knocked Luchasaurus out. Whoa, and then fucking Panda Boy comes out with that move.
Panda Uno with a Samoan drop,
smooth too. That was like a pop-up Samoan drop. A little frog splash. Super Panda with the super. I think that's Super Panda without the arms. Without the sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
They all have arms. Everybody in the ring has arms.
Let's hope so.
Does not have arm sleeves.
The very first Battle Royal we watched, there was a guy missing a leg. So
there was. That did happen.
Don't count out that we'll have an armless wrestler in AEW one day.
All right. We are creeping on the comeback, I believe, for Jurassic Express here, because if they job to Panda Express on AEW Dark, it's a wrap, boys. Just go ahead and send it home. Here we go.
I'm telling you, this match does prove that Jack Perry can work with anybody.
Yeah, Jack.
Luchasaurus is a little more awkward. His timing's more off than usual, but Jack Perry's pretty smooth with these two morons.
Yeah, Jack has got it down. There we go. Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
Lucha Express, go ahead and kill that browser, and we have seen enough of that. That is the most AEW Dark I've watched. Panda Express with the loss. Sorry for you, fellas. All right, we'll check.
And that does not make me want to watch any more AEW Dark. I don't know about you.
I saw that and I knew you'd hate it. And boy, I wanted to get you just raw, just right there, because I'm sure you could have done a whole show just on that match. A whole podcast would be just on Eric and what he saw during that whole thing.
That is just the most indie shit. Just indie garbage flea market. Brian, you and I have been to some flea market shows. You and I have been to some gymnasium shows, and there's not much talent worse than the Panda Express.
that was not very good. All right, we are here for the main reason, the main event. Why we're here, people. Survivor Series took place over on Sunday, and that was. Actually, I was set up to be completely irritated by the show, but I had fun. I think I had fun watching it. We got together virtually here with a group of guys that we hang out and watch wrestling with, and so we did a Google Hangout Meets thing, whatever they call it these days, and we all streamed it from our own respective cribs, keeping everybody socially distanced, making sure we're not
very socially distanced.
We were in different not different states. We were all in the same state on this one, but we were all in
different zip codes,
different
maybe
zip codes. But anyways, all in our respective homes and having fun watching wrestling. I did go back and watch it a second time, so I had a little more in depth. I didn't get a lot of commentary as everybody's volumes were all over the place and you're picking up things. Everybody's feeds were a little off, so I had to go watch it again so I could sit down and focus, take some notes. So we're going to go over this and talk to some Survivor Series. So dive into it first. We start out in the pre-show with the Gobbledygooker making an appearance, Eric Todd. The Gobbledygooker. Was that what they say? Was that what it was from the Survivor Series 92 and that big egg that popped out? Hector Guerrero played the guy, and he wins.
Yeah, so the Gooker made 2 appearances in the show. I did walk into our Google Hangout meeting a little late. I walked in the middle of the first match.
Yes, it was.
But the Birdseed spot was later in the show, so he made 2 appearances.
There was 2 appearances. So the first appearance,
goodness.
He comes out and he gets the pin and wins the 24/7 championship from R-Truth.
Oh God!
So he is on the record books as being a title holder in WWE.
Now, any idea where the gobbledygooker came from? Well, that has to be a Vince creation.
Well, it was just back from what was the pay-per-view that they were honoring The Undertaker at. So what Survivor Series were we back 30 years ago? What was 30 years from today?
That would be 1990.
So the 1990 pay-per-view of Survivor Series was the debut of The Undertaker and was also the debut of the gobbledygooker, however you say it. And he came out of the egg. No idea what it ever meant. That was the only appearance he ever did. Mean Gene introduced it. The egg cracked. He ran down to the ring. Mean Gene tripped in the ring when they were running around dancing. Legend has it was Hector Guerrero that played the original. That's all I know on that, but he made his appearance again 30 years later and wins the 24/7 championship. And then they had a mixed brand battle royal. Basically what that was about, keep this one short and sweet, it was about putting Dominic Mysterio over.
Okay.
He was
I can understand that.
He was the hot guy in the ring. It looks like he's won as he throws out the last guy. It's him and I don't remember off the top of my head because it wasn't that important to me. Boom, he tosses him out. But what happens is he thinks he wins, but the bell doesn't ring. Why could that be? Because the Miz went under the bottom rope, comes up, gives him the old toss like a sack of trash out the back door, and boom, the Miz wins.
So we're setting up a Dominic Mysterio Miz feud.
Something going on in there.
Would think.
I'm not sure what they got going on because the Miz has the Money in the Bank championship, or not the championship, but the Money in the Bank briefcase for the championship. I'm not sure where they're going with all this, but nonetheless, they put Miz over. Dominic kind of got over, and then we move on from there. So that was the pre-show. Caught a little bit of that. It was a pre-show. It wasn't good.
Everything was where it belonged.
Everything was where it belonged.
This did not belong on the main event, on the main show.
No, that was right there for the free. Hey, make sure you sign up for the WWE Network. You can watch it on the freemium version of it, and they can hook you in. That's how they tried to hook you in, people. That is how they tried to hook you in. Then we dive into your first match is the men's traditional 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown men's Survivor Series match. So this match, the first thing about it that drove me nuts is that everybody got their own entrance. So everybody.
Oh God!
So it wasn't just like, remember back in the day. We'll go back to 1990. You get the $1 Million Man comes out with his $1 Million team, and he leads the team, and his music plays. Then every guy walks
he's the
out.
captain.
Every guy walks out 10 seconds after him, 15 seconds after him, right? And then the camera just catches him. We got the $1 Million Man. We've got the Mountie. I don't know whoever the hell was behind him. Nope, not this. Everybody came out to their own song, their own introduction. It took nearly 15 minutes to get everybody out and introduced from each brand and into the ring before the bell could ring.
Everybody's a superstar, Brian. We need everybody to be showcased.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm using the term superstar loosely here.
It was rough, and it was just like you got lost and forgot what you were watching. So you just like kind of went along with it, but I didn't care for that. I thought they could have sped that up, and as short as everybody's attention span is these days, like why? That is like, you're going to bore the hell out of people. People are going to grab their Instagram and start flipping through Reels and TikToks and get lost in the internet before they realize what's happening. I did not like that. And then the match kicked off. Well, go ahead.
Do you have the rundown of the teams in front of you?
You know what? I do. Let me pop it up real quick. Wiki Survivor. Pull up that page here real quick. But yes, boop-a-doop-a-doop. I thought that the match moved a little slow as it was getting started. That drove me nuts to my first complaint that I was going to have on that. Let me see here. Team Raw, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. Then they take on Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis. So
that's a motley crew over there, huh?
That's your SmackDown team, and your first team was your Raw. AJ, Keith, Sheamus, Braun, Riddle. That's Raw. SmackDown, Kevin, Jey, Corbin, Rollins, and Otis. So yeah, that is your leadoff. In there, everybody gets their own thing. Their long entrances, and it just took too long, and the match was good, and it started out a little boring for me. So I don't know. What did you think about these matches back in the day compared to now? Where do you stand? Like I liked them back in the day because it just intermixed a tag team that had a beef with another tag team, and then a singles guy who had a beef with the other singles guy. So everybody kind of paired off across the ring, right? You'd have Macho Man, he's mad at Rick Martel, and then the Rockers are looking at Demolition, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? The teams were squared off that way. And at least,
right. We had one team of baby faces. This is back in the day. One team of baby faces versus a team of heels, and there was some beef going on between every member of that team.
Right.
So the team coming together and going against, the babyface team coming together and challenging the heel team, it all had a meaning. This is just scrambled eggs right here. We got 5 guys from one brand versus 5 guys of another, and I don't know of any beef going on with these guys.
No, the only beef going on was that they were from opposite brands and they wanted to prove their brand, for whatever that's worth.
Well, who cares?
And I have this in my notes, is watching this going, why are we watching this? Why do I care? Why does this team care if they win? And I thought that it should have been something on the line. A draft pick to start out the draft pick for the men. Like the next time they do a WWE draft segment, even if it's in a year, like who cares? Or something along those lines, or some type of home field advantage. Your show main events WrestleMania.
Something. They could have given us something, but this was just a mishmash.
No reason for it. And then this other thing that I didn't like about it, and this is going to sound stupid and petty, but they wore they wore shirts in the ring, and I know it's going to sound weird, like who cares if these guys wore shirts in the ring, but these guys don't wear, like they wore their branded shirts, so they had these cheap Raw, cheap SmackDown with the USA and the Fox logo on the back. These guys don't wear shirts when they wrestle. It's not a part of their gimmick. It's not a part of their attire, and it was just kind of weird and forced, I thought, that they were just shoving it down the throats, that they could have done this differently, but I just thought that was cheesy, is what I thought that was.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. It's definitely some cheeseball shit.
I know it's minor and petty, but it's just kind of off. It just didn't make sense.
Right. Well, throughout the rest of the show, most of the people wore their normal gear, but it was the color coordination was geared towards what brand you were from. And yeah, having to wear these cheap t-shirts brought down the look of each quote unquote superstar, made them look a little cheaper, and it was just unnecessary.
Yeah, I just thought it was just cheap. It was just kind of weird. There was a lot going on in this match. I don't want to really break it down hold for hold, move for move as we go through this, because there's 10 guys in the ring, 5 on each team. There's a lot going on. But the first elimination, again, was real slow and long into the match. I don't have the time codes on the eliminations. I'm not getting that deep into this. But one of the first eliminations was from Team SmackDown, Seth Rollins. Rollins goes in the ring, forces the tag from Kevin Owens, goes in, gets on his knees, does his hands out to the sides like a cross, like he's sacrificing himself, and tells Sheamus to do as you're told, to do the deed, or some nonsense like that, right? Boom, takes a brogue kick to the face. 1, 2, 3, he's eliminated.
Now, I get it. He's the Monday Night Messiah. He's sacrificing himself for our sins, I imagine. But why? And who cares?
Well-
What's behind it? I mean, just to say you're WWE's version of Jesus and you're sacrificing yourself, I don't know. That's not enough for me. It just seemed like a stupid forced spot.
Oh, it was terribly forced. I don't know if he's supposed to be mad because he's over on SmackDown now, so he's not the Monday Night Messiah. If the Friday Night Messiah doesn't roll off the tongue so well. But they've also are going to use this to write him off of TV for a while and push so he can be at home with Becky while she has the baby. So that's the real reason that's happening. But what does it mean in the ring? Why? I don't know. It was kind of whack. He's supposed to be the guy, and one kick to the face takes him out. Boom. I've seen matches between him and Sheamus, and he takes like 96 brogue kicks and still wins.
He sacrificed himself for the greater good, Brian, and we should all praise the Monday Night Messiah.
The Friday Night Messiah. He's over there on SmackDown there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Friday Night Freebird.
I haven't watched either show in God knows how long.
Yeah, I just thought that was boring. Funny comment as we were watching this, I made sure to put this in the notes, is our good friend of the show, Andy, who listens all the time. He was watching along with us, and he made the comment that Otis looked like the love child of Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and Luke from the Bushwhackers.
And Andy is spot on with that one.
I thought it was funny, and I had to remember that, so I wanted to make sure I give him the credit.
And Otis is WWE's... I don't want to go as far as to say Orange Cassidy, but he's WWE's comedy relief.
Okay.
Nobody takes him seriously, but Vince.
So
Vince, for some reason, is pushing him, and everybody in this match just shuck and jived for him and just sold like crazy for Otis. And I think to any serious wrestling fan, Otis is a joke and shouldn't be taken seriously.
Well, you know what? I like where you're going with this, because next on my list is you would think we were sharing show notes. We do not share show notes. We'll pull back the curtain here on the little show that we do here in the KayFabe Smark podcast. We do not share show notes because we want to come at each other and throw this off and have a real conversation about wrestling. My next note says, if Vince, quote, hates the fat guys, we know Vince is a body guy. So if you're overweight, I am not a body guy myself. I've got my problem areas. But that's the old story, right? Vince hates that. Why is Otis okay and put on a pedestal to wear half shirts, to have that are a size schmedium that he's squeezing into, to over accentuate his look and his build, and then to have him dancing? They took him out of the singlets, like him and when he was in Heavy Machinery originally as a tag team, they had a singlet thing going on. Took him out of the singlets. Now he's just in trunks or panties, as Eric's like to calls it. In a small T-shirt that's cut into a belly shirt, but Keith Lee comes over, and he has to wear a full singlet and T-shirt and jackets and just get tucked in and to make look like a different guy because Vince doesn't like his build. Is it because Otis being fat is funny and Keith Lee being fat is doesn't go over in the serious manner or the big strong powerhouse manner? It's just a weird.
Well, I think Vince. I think long answer short, Brian. Vince is a dick, and I think he gets a kick out of ridiculing Otis. Maybe Keith Lee. He sees like so much talent and potential in Keith Lee. He just wants to cover up his fat, flabby body as much as possible. Which I guess I'm just kind of shooting off the hip here. What about Big E Langston? He's pretty much all muscle, isn't he?
Yeah, Big E's just beefy, but he's farm boy. He's just strong. He's all muscle. He's just a big, thick fella.
Yeah, compared to a flabby Keith Lee or a Otis, overweight Otis.
So it's just if fat is funny, it's okay.
Right. That's the answer. Vince is a bully, and he wants to entertain himself, and he'll do it at Otis's expense, and Otis will do whatever the boss says for that nice fat paycheck.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm above it. I'd wear a half shirt and panties if I was getting that Otis paycheck.
You get that WWE paycheck. I mean, I get it. It's just so weird that like this guy's allowed to do it. When he's hot on a guy, it's okay for this side, but the second he's not hot on a guy, he's going to want to cover him up and put him away, and just to kind of screws it all up. So, but what did you think of this overall as a 5-guy, 10-man tag or whatever you want to call it, Survivor Series match? I couldn't get involved into it because I didn't have any emotion into it. I didn't care one way or another. It didn't help me either way on if somebody, or even it doesn't help me either way anyways, but you know what I'm saying? I didn't have anything vested into this match to want Raw to win or to want SmackDown to win or to get this guy a title shot or to anything. It just, there was nothing about it that drew me in to really give two shits.
Right. If anyone had anything vested into this match, I'd like to know, because me either. I could honestly care less, or couldn't care less, who won this match. I was interested, however, in the ending of this match. I don't know if you're ready to get to the ending.
We can move right along. I have some other notes in there, but nothing. We can just keep on trucking. We got a lot to cover.
But we end up with a 5-on-1 situation. Jey Uso being the only one left on Team SmackDown. And at that point, you're thinking, what's going on here? Why? It's Jey Uso for a reason. Is he going to pull some amazing comeback, some unprecedented comeback, which he does not. And it ends up just being a complete squash. 5 men left on Team Raw. Team SmackDown completely wiped out. And from a business standpoint, doesn't make sense to me, because Fox is paying Vince McMahon a hell of a lot more money than USA is. Seems like you might want to make Fox a little more happy, play to them a little bit more, and keep them happy so they keep pushing your product on network TV.
Yeah, I kind of thought they buried the show, too, that the entire roster over there, one sacrifices himself and says, I don't want to be here. I want the night off. Kick me in the face.
How can you, on a pay-per-view level, how can you take a shit on the one show you have that's on network TV?
I agree with you. I didn't get it. The whole match, I just didn't care. I wanted to care. I did. But
who are you going to latch on to in that lineup, though? There's nobody. Keith Lee, I was a fan of in NXT. I wasn't a fanboy, but I was a fan.
Sure.
But since he strapped that tennis skirt on over at WWE,
lost you the one night when he put culottes on.
He's just kind of lost in the sauce in my book.
Lost in the Sauce shirts will be available at the KayFabe Smark soon. We can get you a
eventually.
Get you a Lost.
Maybe
that'll
be our New Year's resolution. Will be merch.
Get you some Lost in the Sauce shirts. Yeah, Jey Uso, last guy in the ring, or for SmackDown. The ending itself, we can go back to that. It was weird. Keith Lee catches Jey in the Spirit Bomb. Wait, where are we at here? Yeah, but it was just weird. Jey goes to jump, and then Keith is in the ring, catches him, and slams him. It's like, it's cool that he caught him, but why would Jey jump onto the back of a guy? It was weird. Anyways, I don't know. We can move on. I just didn't know what to think of it. It was just strange. The whole thing. I wanted to care about this 5 thing because it's a traditional Survivor Series match. Makes me excited. It takes me back to my childhood. I think about that, and I don't know. Even when I go back and watch some of those, I don't know why I cared about them. Just because I wanted the good guys to win and the bad guys to lose is when I was little. Right. But it was just...
Yeah, and this one, if that's what they wanted to do, if they just wanted to bury Team SmackDown, if they just wanted to isolate Uso, seems like they could have did it a lot quicker, too. This match seemed to drag. It seemed to be moving at the molasses pace.
Yes, it was weird. In the ending, too, with like I said, with Keith Lee standing sideways in the ring and Jey just jumps onto his back to get a Spirit Bomb or whatever they call his finishing move there. But let's move on. New Day takes on the Street Profits. Traditional tag team match. This is your SmackDown champion, the New Day, taking on... Oh, no. Wait, which way is it?
New Day taking on Street Profits.
New Day taking on Street Profits, but who the hell has what tag team championship here? We've got Street Profits. They're the SmackDown champions. New Day with the Raw. Okay, that's what I thought. And
everybody in WWE has a belt.
Everybody gets one. You get one. I get one.
They all visited Oprah. You get a belt. You get a belt.
Yeah, Street Profits taking on the New Day. The New Day comes out in their Gears of War gimmick. They look like some RoboCops coming out. I didn't understand what was happening at first, and then realized that they are put in the Gears of War game. And then with them being all super into the games with the up, down, down channel there, and all that on YouTube, it makes sense. So I was kind of digging. That was a pretty cool look for them. Just for a minute. Like, they didn't overdo it, I thought. I was glad they didn't make some big WrestleMania entrance about it. They came out. They looked like video game characters. They plugged the video game, and it was over. And it worked out.
Yeah. AEW has their video game bullshit, and in true Vince fashion, Vince says, hey, we can do video game bullshit too, but we're actually going to put an entire tag team in a hugely launched video game. We're going to get ring gear and costumes, and it is what it is. You got to cross market. You got to, use brands, advertise, whatever. They're in the game. It didn't pique my interest. I've never been a Gears of War head, but whatever.
It just shook me when they came out. First thing I said is, what the hell are they wearing? And then I figured it out, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever you got going on. So representing the New Day was Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Big E did come out in the Gears of War plug, and then he hit the bricks. They didn't even make a big deal about it. He didn't hang out on the side of the ring. He was gone.
They didn't mention it, did they?
Nope. He was out. Hooty-hoo.
I remember watching in the middle of the match, I'm just like, where's Big E?
Yeah, because I kind of waited for him to get involved somehow. Just with the third man, kind of the going on there. But so this was non-title, as we discussed last week. This was your Street Profits and New Day match, and so these guys went at it. I can't not speak any higher of this match than I was so excited for this. I wasn't excited for this match, but this match kept me in the entire time. I was digging this match the entire time. I thought this was a great tag team match.
Right. I can't disagree with you. But when the Street Profits are involved, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. It's going to be high flying. It's going to be gymnastics. New Day worked well with them, and the Street Profits, they can sell. They have their fundamentals under control. Montez Ford, I believe, was selling those ribs like a motherfucker.
Yes.
And New Day was working those ribs. So they were working together to sell an injury, which in turn contributed to the end of the match.
Yes. I was just so happy that this match, they kind of, like you were getting at, they told their own story inside the ring. There was no real reason for any of these matches, and that was the hard part for the tag team championships, the U.S. and Intercontinental championships we'll talk about later here. There was no reason to care why these guys were fighting. There was no long build-up or feud to this. It was just matches put together. So, with that being said, I thought they were great. It just worked great together. You had the high flying of the Profits. You had the classic wrestling styles, if you will, of what you came to know and love of the New Day. What I picked up from this is that the Street Profits were working that night as the faces, and that New Day was working as the antagonist.
Okay, yeah, you can't necessarily call them heels. If they were intentionally working as heels, Big E would have been out there causing some shit.
Right. So that's why I didn't want to call them heels, call them antagonists. They were like the cocky veterans of the evening, teaching the young new kids how the big leagues work or something along those lines. You just saw moves like Kofi taking those red Solo cups that Street Profits, shoot out and they use for their gimmick, and he picks one up, and during the middle of the match, there's one still in the corner of the ring, and he grabs it and just boots it and just kicks it. It's kind of like a fuck you. It'd have been like the equivalent of them kicking the Bootios thing, right? From the New Day. It was just those little stabs, those little jabs, and I thought it worked because you had to have to have a back and forth. If everybody's just behind, if the crowd is behind everybody, or if you know what I'm saying, if it's all just super we're the best. We're the best. Like somebody's got to be a little rougher, a little more the antagonist. I don't want to say
right.
heel.
Things AEW can say whatever they want. Cody Rhodes can say whatever the hell he wants about there not being baby faces and heels anymore. But you can't have a white meat babyface team versus a white meat babyface team. You got to cause some sort of division to get someone behind them. So I agree with you. New Day did that. They worked it pretty well where they're still baby faces, but they made the Street Profits look like underdogs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got from it. Underdogs versus antagonists, and it was great. I don't really know what to say about it. It was a good match. I just say go back and watch it. There was some good spots, and go back and watch it, man. I'm just going to move on. I don't know if we want to dig any deeper into this match. It's just a good tag.
Yeah.
It was, classic tag team match.
We can just go to the fast forward to the end here. Montez Ford, which everybody on our little wrestling pool thing, anyone who took the Street Profits saying they were going to win this match had Montez Ford down for the pin. I don't think that's news to anybody, any wrestling fans out there. Montez Ford is the leader of this team. Well, he was selling those ribs pretty good. He hit a pretty high frog splash there on, I believe that was Kofi, and sold those ribs like crazy. Like he injured himself so bad that he was down for the count, and it took him a minute to get the cover. Kofi kicks out. Yada, yada, yada. Some more stuff happens, and please forgive me, but I can't remember the other guy's name. Angelo Dawkins ends up getting the pin in this match, which was a little unexpected, but that's good. They threw a little wrench in there. They shook it up a little bit, and they gave us a bit of a surprise because everyone was expecting Montez to get that pin.
Yeah, especially with that high frog splash that he hits everybody with. Dawkins came in with some hot tags. He had that double underhook rotating like neck breaker gimmick move that he did, and that was pretty sweet. He did some moves that you've never seen before. He was a ball of fire. Go back. If you didn't watch Survivor Series, go watch this match. I can tell you that much. Go watch this match.
This match was definitely worth a watch for sure.
All right. Well, we will continue on and just keep trucking here because there's still some matches to cover on here. Make sure you guys head on over to Facebook, KayFabe Smark, Instagram, the KayFabe Smark, and head on over to TikTok, the KayFabe Smark, and get on to audibletrial.com/KayFabe Smark. Get your free audiobook, 30-day free trial, all that fun stuff. Help us help you. Hang out. Let's talk wrestling. Get involved. Back to Survivor Series. Sami Zayn taking on Bobby Lashley.
All right. So we got the CEO of the Hurt Business here. Isn't Bobby Lashley who they're pushing? Or
yes. The CEO of the Hurt Locker is business is Bobby Lashley, and then you've got Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn coming in as the Intercontinental Champion, and Bobby Lashley coming in as the U.S. Champion. Now, I don't know if you got to see the little promo gimmick they had going on before, but Sami Zayn was cracking me up because he was the Intercontinental Champion. That is better than the U.S. Champion. He is the champion of all the continents. That's how he was.
You got to give it to El Generico, man. He can cut a promo, and he can dig at you. He can poke at you and irritate you.
Oh, and he's like
a tick under the skin, that little shit.
Yeah, so this was a tough one for me deciding on who they were selling as the heel and babyface. We were talking about it earlier. Personally, I put Sammy as the babyface and Bobby as the heel because I don't like Bobby and I like Sami Zayn. But, I don't think that it didn't work that way either because Sammy was just such an annoying little tick under the skin that you want to go, Sammy's working heel in this. But
right. I hate to agree with you like we're sharing notes over here, except I did go in the opposite direction to tap on what you just said. In my opinion, Sammy was playing the heel in this match. He is a classic chicken shit heel, which would make Bobby Lashley the babyface. But where the confusion comes in is Bobby Lashley has his squad out there. Bobby Lashley has the Hurt Business out there backing him up in a heel fashion, but he's working babyface because everybody who tuned in that night wanted to see Sami Zayn get the shit kicked out of him because he's an annoying little asshole and was character. I don't know El Generico personally,
Yeah.
but everyone wanted to see him get the shit kicked out of him. Bobby Lashley.
That's a joke. That's an inside joke.
Bobby Lashley did deliver, but yeah, that's where the confusion was. Lashley was the babyface, Zayn was the heel, but Lashley had the Hurt Locker backing him up in a heel fashion. I don't know.
I love how we call it.
WWE's just shaking up a boggle cube right now and just kind of letting the dice lay where they lie.
So yes, in my notes, the next in my notes here is that you've got Bobby Lashley. Man's a giant. I don't know he's well over. He's pushing 300 pounds. 6 foot tall, 6 foot something, right? Built like a brick shit house. And he has his buddies from the Hurt Business. Is that what they are, right? We keep changing. I can't remember the real name now.
I'm pretty sure it's the Hurt Business, yeah.
You got MVP, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin surrounding the ring.
Right. That's heel shit.
Well, that's heel shit. But what I'm getting at is you need that to beat up Sami Zayn? You've got Bobby Lashley in the ring. Like
who's twice the size of Sami Zayn.
Like in reality could crush him. Like,
right.
Like, but you've got these guys surrounding it and then like kind of taunting Sami on the outside, like, oh, you better stay in the ring. That was weird. Like they just put they're putting Sami up like that, but I thought it was. I just like Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn made me laugh in this match. How annoying and weird he was. The ending was the match itself was kind of whack all around. I didn't really care for it. Did you care for anything in this match?
No, and I did not. I thought this match stunk. But
but what I liked about it,
on our board to refer to our wrestling board that we are going to with our buddies here, I took Sami Zayn on this, just for the simple fact that I thought Bobby Lashley is heavily involved in the Hurt Business and their business practices.
He's a CEO, for God's sakes.
Right. That's a faction that's doing faction shit.
Right.
And they're going around hurting people. Sami Zayn is focused on being the Intercontinental Champion and being his own man. I thought the W should have somehow, some way went to Sami Zayn in a chicken shit sneaky way, and that could have advanced him more. The win for Bobby Lashley didn't really do shit for him. I feel the win for Sami Zayn could have elevated him at a decent amount.
Right. They do have a good storyline to work with off the ending with Sami Zayn tripping over MVP's foot and then running in for the 10, trying not to miss the 10 count. Sorry about that. And he gets caught up right into the full Nelson and then taps out, and immediately it's a wrap. So again, that's another one of those moves that's not challenging to get on, this full Nelson move, so you're wondering why you didn't even see Bobby Lashley attempt it at any other point in the night to try and sell Sami being squirmy and getting out of it. You know, he catches a half arm up, Sami's doing something, he escapes. You know, there should have been more of that teasing of that move being so devastating, and then when he gets it locked in, you're like, that's a wrap.
That's they're calling that the Hurt Locker now, aren't they?
Probably, but it's the
I
full
think
Nelson.
they are.
Hercules Hernandez called it the full Nelson, and it will forever be called the full Nelson.
We'll see what Excrement calls it over on AEW. We call it the Hernandez padlock, or
but this match sucked. Sami was funny. He was dirty and chicken shit, and that's what I loved about it. And that's what I took away from it. And they do have an angle to work with MVP for Sami Zayn and MVP to maybe feud as he tripped over his foot. So maybe not feud, but to give you a little something back and forth. Or they can just go back to their respective brands and never speak of this again. But the only entertaining thing I got out of it was I like Sami Zayn in this match. So that's that, man.
So
yeah. I mean,
it was.
Again, you want a rating on it? 1 star. But I like Sami Zayn,
right.
So
it was.
I know I'm all over the place on my rating. Like I loved Sami Zayn's performance, but I hated the match. So figure that out.
Right. They did, they did what they could with the size difference to do a little bit of back and forth and to get some drama in this match. But essentially, at the end of it, it just turned into Bobby Lashley just obliterating Sami Zayn with that hurt lock. As soon as he got it on, shit was over. That was it.
Right. Then we move to, we'll just push past this. We move to a backstage segment with Roman Reigns and the Usos. So, did you take anything away from this? What do you love it, hate it, or did you just zone out and not give a shit?
I don't know. I really didn't get anything from this. I don't know what they're pushing for now. Reigns won that match. He's the leader of the table. He's the tribal chief. And somehow he's blaming Jey Uso for SmackDown's loss.
Right, because
saying that SmackDown lost because they don't fear Jey Uso. Jey Uso is a tag team guy on the mid-card level. Who the fuck's going to fear Jey Uso in a team setting as a leader? Jey Uso isn't Roman Reigns. Jey Uso isn't The Rock. Jey Uso isn't Yokozuna. He's fucking Jey Uso, man.
yeah, he's a good.
He cried while he was fighting his cousin. Who's going to fear him?
He's a good tag team wrestler with his brother. I don't know what the hell you want. But you get this weird... I'm not buying this Roman Reigns character, though.
Oh, Roman's a terrible actor.
Yeah. I mean, Roman's a terrible actor.
I mean, he's a great athlete, but he's not going to be Rocky Maivia here. He's not going to be Dwayne Johnson.
No.
He's not going to be in a bunch of movies and the number one action star ever.
It's just weird, like the way that he came out and he's got his hands in his pockets and he talks in this low monotone voice where they don't respect you. They don't respect me. They don't respect me. They don't respect our lineage. They don't respect our table. You got to just go ahead and get out of here. And this is just so, like, for one, his faction is only him and his cousins right now. So he can't go kicking people out or he doesn't have a faction. There's nobody eating at his table if he kicks his cousins out. So
right.
You got to be
precisely.
You got to be careful there, guy. So, but what I do like about this whole thing is the new character, the new side of the character that you're getting from Paul Heyman. You're getting this character development of Paul Heyman where he's kind of timid to Roman Reigns' temper tantrums.
Right. So he is Paul Heyman is trying to make it believable. If Paul Heyman fears this guy, if Paul Heyman has to bow down to this guy, maybe we should too.
Right. And like you didn't see this side with Brock. Like Brock went out and did what Brock did. Paul Heyman would even try and stop Brock occasionally. No, stop! Like you're killing a guy. But that would be it. But you always got that respect thing from Brock. Like it was like, well, that's Paul. I'm not going to beat up Paul Heyman. You have this feeling, the way that it's telling the story is that Roman Reigns, like he's like a battered wife. Like Roman Reigns beats Paul Heyman. So he's like when they're in public, he's like very timid and his hands are up and he's very like, ooh, don't hit me. And it's just strange but so I'm digging that because it's funny and different and it's something new, a different side of Paul Heyman. I'm a Paul Heyman guy, so I enjoy seeing a new side of Paul Heyman. Like they actually showed Paul Heyman watching the 5-man tag because Jey Uso was in it. And if Jey Uso's in it and it's representing SmackDown and then his cousin and all this stuff that goes with it and Jey lost, SmackDown lost, the whole thing was a loss, so then he was going, oh no, Roman's pissed. Like, that's it. Daddy's mad at mommy and the spaghetti just hit the wall. Like,
you hit the nail right on the head, Brian. So Brock was pretty much Kamala and Paul Heyman was kimchi. He's the handler. He cracks the whip. He's, Brock's the pit bull and Heyman's the handler. In this situation, Paul is the manager, but soon when they hit the locker room, Roman's slapping him around, throwing spaghetti against the walls, telling him to go make him a cup of coffee, kicking him in the ass and telling him to go, go to bed. Go to bed without your dinner, Paul.
Go to bed, Paulie. But yeah, it's just just an interesting side, and I wanted to see how this. I'm hoping that this develops more. Easy for me to say, but yes, as we can see more of this side of Paul Heyman, get him some more TV time. I'm all for that.
And God bless him. They're trying to let Roman talk. We've known for years Roman can't talk, and that's why they put Paul Heyman with him.
But that's what they did. Like, Brock can't really talk either. And that's why.
Yeah, and Paul Heyman did all his talking.
Paul did all the talking. Like, occasionally Brock would be like, "Get out here, it's suplex time, bitch!" And that would be like his mic skills. And that was it. That's all you needed. But Paul would sell you into the match. They're still giving Roman the mic. He just needs to step to the back and let Paul sell it for him. But they're going at it at a different angle. And we'll see how it evolves. I'm not mad at it too much right now. I mean, Roman sucks, but I like Paul's new character.
Like you said, I can appreciate the new approach on this, where the easy bet, the safe bet, would have been just to make Roman the Samoan Brock. You know, it would have been a safe bet. Just have Paul do all the talking. Just have Roman be the monster. But they're going out of their comfort zone. They're writing lines for Roman. Unfortunately, WWE has a shit writing team. So the shit writing, as for the scripts, combined with Roman's lack of mic skills, it's not coming out too well. But Paul, God bless Paul E. Dangerously here, man. He is doing his best to save this angle.
Yeah, it's the only reason that I'm staying half tuned into what's happening is because Paul's involved.
Bingo bango.
That is it. All right, so we move on. The next match, Asuka taking on Sasha Banks, the boss, in the women's championship match.
Again,
no titles on the line.
Non-title match. No titles online. This match doesn't mean anything.
So with that being said, I have here in my notes that an idea I had for these matches that I thought could have been interesting is that the next pay-per-view, like if title versus title, right? So the titles aren't on the line because you can't have a whole roster with double championships. You know, the Intercontinental Champion is your U.S. champion. That's going to be weird. You've got unified tag team champions. I get it. It'd be a little mess. You got to figure that out. But what I thought while watching this again the second time was they could do the loser has to defend the title at the next pay-per-view. And the winner would get the night off. Now, I know there's a lot of branded pay-per-views these days, but it's WWE and it's your own company. You can write the show however you want. So you can just follow up the second one with, like, so if Asuka loses, well, Asuka's got to put her title up. Her title's on the line against the number one contender from SmackDown or Raw. She's got to work, but, Sasha Banks be like, hey, I won. I get this one off. And then there's a little skin in the game. There's a little something
that goes
to care
back
about.
Goes back to what you said on the original match. I would care about these matches because, I'll be honest with you, Brian, Asuka versus Sasha, we've seen it, and I don't care.
Right.
And I don't care who wins, especially because nothing's on the line. So, yeah, just to go back to what you said about the original match, putting something on the line here, something at stake, would make us actually give somewhat of a shit about this match.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. I thought that would have been a cool idea, especially because I thought of it, so I think it's even cooler. But we'll move on and talk about this match a little bit. This was a match to show Sasha Banks becoming her own again. Sasha Banks had been a singles competitor, obviously, for a very long time. Did very well for herself. But then she got caught up in this Bayley gimmick. And they were running around. They got
her and Bayley thing went on a bit too long.
So she got caught up in this Bayley thing. They were the cool chicks in school. They weren't necessarily heels, but they were. But you know what I'm saying? They weren't necessarily heels. They were just bitches. You didn't like them.
They were the mean girls. And so now this is her really selling the face value of being the true, honest-to-goodness wrestler. She's just going to go out and do her job and wrestle, and she's here to work and wrestle and put in everything's good and great about her. And then that's what this match was about, is just showing
the good sportsmanship, honest, hard-working, fighting, say your prayers, take your vitamins, Sasha Banks. That's what I took from this, is that they're not trying. There was nothing else beyond that.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. That's about all that was in this match. And
Sasha,
but I am, as much as Asuka gets pushed as a great performer, a great wrestler, a great talent, which she is all of the above, on the network shows, she gets pushed like that. But every pay-per-view, she just gets, for lack of a better term, she gets fucked over, man. So this was an easy bet in my book. Sasha coming out on her own once again and making strides to be her own woman and to get that push, if you will. It just meant Asuka was going to do business. Asuka was going to lay down, and I think we all saw it coming. So I wasn't too heavily involved in this match. It was what it was.
That's like literally the amount of notes I have, is that this was just another match to put Sasha out there and to prove her sweet innocence. She's just the pretty face. Not like, I don't even mean that. I mean, she has a very pretty face, but she is just the face of the company and she's going to do her business over there on, I almost said Raw, on SmackDown. And she gets the win, and there you go.
Her blue gimmick, she was all blued out.
All blued out.
She was all cripped up, and to let us know that she's on the SmackDown brand. And give props to Asuka here, where Asuka's confident with herself, and the company's confident with her, where she can put people over on pay-per-views. She's WWE's Cody, if you will.
She has nothing to lose from losing.
Right. Where she can be like a Cody Rhodes, where we all know she's an amazing talent, and how she can lay down and put someone else over on a big show to help the company.
Yeah, she has nothing to lose from losing, and Sasha had everything to win from winning. So
right.
It was the right move to go in your storylines and the way things are going, but I really could have cared couldn't have cared less. I don't know how to say it any more than that. We move on to the women's 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Team Raw, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, taking on Team SmackDown, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. Where you at, Eric? Where you at?
I didn't care, Brian.
You know, that is the definition of this pay-per-view. I wanted to care because like you're watching it, you know, you're putting the time into it, trying to find the things to care about. The only match that drew me in was tag team match. Go back and watch it. It's a good match.
Right.
I love that tag team match. I'd go watch it again. These 5-on-5 gimmick matches, man, were just that. And the only story being told, and you could see this coming from a mile away, because how many tables has she been put through now leading up to this?
I think it was 8 tables in 8 weeks.
8 tables in 8 weeks. Lana had been put through from Nia Jax, who now she has to be on a team with.
Right. And they scold her like a dog and make her stand on the steps the entire time, the entirety of this match.
Screaming at her, get off the ring, stand there. And she stood there in shock. She had the whimpering, beaten puppy look going on.
I mean, also, Bianca Belair, she's a hell of a talent.
I was just going to get into Bianca. I have it in my notes here. I said, in here it says, I was sold more on Bianca Belair in this match than I always had been. Like, this was the match to me. She finally came out and stood out and shined. I unjustly judged her on that giant, large ponytail and thought it was too gimmicky, and I didn't like it. And so I never gave her a chance because of a stupid ponytail. Call me an asshole, but it is what it is. I'll take the heat, but I was sold on Bianca Belair.
Right. And I might sound like an asshole here. I don't know. I just pulled this analogy out of my ass literally like 10 seconds ago. This match was like a I don't know, quiche, where I don't like quiche. As an entree, I don't like it. But if you break down the ingredients and separate them, I really like cheese.
Like eggs.
Bianca Belair, yeah. I would say Bailey's my cheese and Bianca Belair was my eggs. So you break this down, you break it down to some ingredients. There's a few ingredients that I liked in this match, and that was watching Bianca Belair. Her up and coming is great, man.
It's on its way.
She is on her way to being a big star. Up there with Rhea Ripley. I still think Rhea Ripley is, besides the Becky Lynches, besides the Charlotte Flairs, Rhea Ripley is the next big up and comer. But right behind her, right on her tail, is Bianca Belair, and I enjoyed watching her in this match. But again, I don't like quiche, so I wasn't a huge fan of this match overall.
One way to put it. Where do you stand on Bailey these days?
I want to like Bailey. I like her Britt Baker gimmick, and she's the role model. She's the sassy bratty bitch, and
it comes so natural to her. It doesn't feel forced, doesn't it?
It's natural. I think Bailey is Bailey.
But that bitch moniker.
I don't have a real name in front of me. It would have had a little more impact if I had a real name. But Bailey is her turned up to 11. And that's, you and I have talked about that for years. That's what a good wrestling gimmick is.
That bitchy moniker doesn't feel forced. So we can talk about AEW for a half a second here. 2 weeks ago, we had Brandy Rhodes come out yelling at that new chick.
Right. Jade Cardigan or whatever.
Yeah, Jade, and she was trying, and then she came out and she's trying to be like super sass, like Brandy had never spoke before. She kind of had a hood moniker up going with her. Who the hell you think you talking to, bitch? You've never heard her talk like that before, and it was just like nails on a chalkboard. Like that didn't make any sense. So I hated that. But back to Bailey. This, you buy it, you're like, ooh, God, don't give her onions on her fucking hamburger because she don't want onions on her hamburger, and she's
she got that Karen haircut too.
You let all the managers know.
Bailey's speaking to every manager she knows. She don't even waste her time getting disappointed. She walks in the door and asks for the manager immediately.
She's talking to Jimmy Hart, all the managers, Slick. She wants all the managers.
So yeah, back to my original statement. I want to like Bailey because I like the gimmick. I like her. I like Britt Baker, but I think Sasha going over her at Hell in a Cell just kind of ended it for now. Ended whatever the hell that was with Bailey. They need to find a new reason for me to like her and follow her again. I'm just kind of on her now. She's there. She is what she is.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I don't disagree with you either. I think she's got it. She's just kind of floating in limbo right now between gimmicks. So I'm not mad at
maybe
it.
she just needs a new feud.
That's it. As soon as she fires something up, it'll be good to go. We got here. Oh, you had the Peyton Royce and Bailey superplex in the dreaded catch me spot. We saw it coming from a mile away. The only thing I can give WWE is they shoot these properly. So you don't see, pardon me there, you don't see the crowd gathering for the catch.
Right.
You see them, you just see some heads, maybe some movement, and then by the time the landing comes, you go, oh, look, there's people there. It still sucks, but the move was pretty cool. It's a big superplex, and seeing them just kind of go for it, then, ladies let it
was impressive. It was impressive to watch them go for it, and thankfully the WWE does find a way to save it as much as you can, I guess, by shooting it and not letting you see the collaboration going on down below, the collusion, if you will. you don't see it happen on the floor. It's just you're focused on that superplex, and holy smokes, they took out 15 other people with it.
Did you have anything else on this match? I had a couple little spots that I didn't care for that I did and didn't care for, but anything you have any comments on it before we just plow through and talk about shit that I got written down?
Not really. The ending was kind of funky.
There. So
it had.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm right at the end.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Ruby Riot's elimination was long, weird. It was that chokehold that they had going on. So she has a chokehold put on from Shayna Baszler. Shayna does a weird, then Ruby Riott does that kick up in the corner, right? Flips over, and the ref's not getting the pin. She's distracted on the other side. She's going for the pin. So finally she lets go. Shayna Baszler lets go. But Ruby passed out. She was in the chokehold too long.
Right.
And then laid there for the equivalent of an awkward 5 minutes. I don't know if it was that long, but it felt like forever. Just laying there, passed out.
She had to have brain damage. She lost that much oxygen.
And then even the commentators go for the pin. Like, I don't know if she got lost. And then she pins her and moves on. Okay, listen. I've never been choked out. Watched a lot of UFC in my day. I've seen guys get choked out. The second the hold's released,
they start coming.
You essentially wake up. You don't go down for a solid 8 hours nap. Like, you're not going to sleep. You didn't take an Ambien. You got choked out for a second. As soon as the blood's flowing back through your brain and your body properly, you're going to start to come to. Are you going to be foggy and groggy? 100%. But she just laid
Look at Matt Hardy. Yeah. Look at Matt Hardy after he smacked his nugget on the concrete floor.
Right.
He came through right away.
He came through right away, tried to fight. He looked drunk, and he threw Sammy Guevara off the top of a scaffolding. I mean, but Ruby Riott could not continue this match because she was down for a solid 8 after being choked out. So that was weird. I hated that. I also hate Natalia's high butt sharpshooter. Andy and I talked about that. She needs to sit down on that thing. But this match ended, and that was sorry about that. Match wrapped up with where we at here? Team Raw defeating Team SmackDown again. So now you've buried SmackDown twice, Eric.
You buried SmackDown twice, but we do get to continue this feud with Lana and Nia Jax because Nia Jax's elimination coincidentally eliminated the last member of SmackDown, which I don't have in front of me who that was.
I believe it was. Wait, we got let me see. Let me flip over here. So you got Nia Jax, and then it was it Bianca Belair? I don't remember. Let's move on. Who gives a shit?
Know. Anyway, who gives a shit? Anyway, Nia Jax has eliminated the last member of SmackDown via a double countout. Which leaves who, Brian? Which leaves as a sole survivor on Team Raw?
Yeah, because nobody saw this coming as the girl who was not allowed in the ring the entire time screamed at to stand still and stand on the steps. Lana is now
our sole survivor.
Your sole survivor and winner in the women's traditional Survivor Series match.
And she's the hero. She's the sole survivor of Team Raw. She got the win for Team Raw. And whatever that accomplishes, it accomplishes to push her and Nia Jax further along, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see Nia Jax go through a table, I imagine, sometime soon.
There's not, if this doesn't evolve into a TLC match or a match at TLC, a tables match.
TLC's got to be coming up soon, right? Is that the December pay-per-view?
I think. I'm not positive. I could do some Google searching here in a moment. But if this doesn't evolve into some type of gimmick match into tables or something, but poor Lana, she has to go into what we foresee a tables match with the women's Hurt Locker because she has been known to hurt people.
Yes.
Nia Jax. I think that sucks. So we move on to...
Yeah, poor Lana for letting her husband go over to the competition.
Yeah. Poor Lana.
Now she's getting buried alive.
Poor Lana, that her contract started after her husband's, and now she's got to wait it out. And she's getting literally buried. If she's not careful, she'll be buried.
But moving on. But I digress.
Nia Jax gonna kill her. Roman Reigns taking on Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the build up to this match, confusing as all hell. So we had Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell
Yes.
to get the title back.
Right.
And we're like, all right, cool, whatever. Randy is this generation's Ric Flair.
Randy's Randy. He's the Shawn
I hope
Michaels.
I'm not going out too far on a limb here. So yeah, we're like, yeah, the veteran's got the belt. The veteran's going to carry it. This is kind of old school vibe. And a couple weeks later, the week before Survivor Series, Randy and Drew McIntyre have a rematch
on Raw.
On Raw. McIntyre beats Randy Orton, gets his title back. What was the point of that whole transition of the belt?
I think that Drew McIntyre just wanted to go back home to Scotland and didn't want to take the belt with him on travels. I don't know.
You didn't want to pay the extra $10 to check it into luggage or whatever.
Right. It's a lot of heavy. That's a lot of work. Didn't know where that story was going. Randy wasn't on the card at all because he didn't have a belt, but he didn't get involved either in anything. No run-in, no nothing.
Maybe Randy wanted time off. Who knows?
I don't know. It was just, yeah. So this match, so I was talking to some friends yesterday that got the pay-per-view, signed up for the network and watched it because of the Undertaker retiring, if you will, in his speech, and they wanted to check that part out and be a part of that and see what's going on. They haven't watched wrestling in a long time, probably since The Undertaker was relevant. It's been that long. So they tuned back in to check this out. And the comment was, so is this, let's just talk about this main event. Is this wrestling now? Because this main event was bad. So the casual watcher was not drawn in by this match on the pay-per-view because it stunk.
I don't know what we're going for. If we're going for psychology, these guys aren't it. These guys aren't Randy Orton. These guys aren't going to give you. These guys aren't the Undertaker. They're not going to give you the psychological thriller match here. These guys are athletes, purebred, fucking monster athletes, and they stunk the joint up. This match moved slower than molasses.
Oh,
I was in a Zoom meeting with 4 of you guys, and the struggle bus was on to stay awake because this match was moving slow.
I got bored twice. I got bored in the rewatch, and I knew it was going to be boring. I wasn't even prepared for the rewatch board. The only thing that saved it is after I did get to go back and watch this a second time, I was able to see, but I was able to hear and see what was happening with the commentators. The commentators were doing all the heavy lifting. They
had to. They were forced.
Yeah, they were telling the story that was being told in the ring that wasn't being told in the ring that was supposed to be being told in the ring. They were just explaining some of the behind it. For one example, explaining that Paul Heyman wants Roman Reigns to beat up Drew McIntyre because Drew is the guy who squashed Brock at WrestleMania. So he wants some revenge taken out for his former client. The commentators come up with it. All right, that makes sense.
Okay, I get it.
So now they're kind of drawing me in a little bit. I'm going, oh yeah, there's a little bit something. Maybe Brock's gonna get involved. They've mentioned Brock on TV, right? They haven't. You start to think. You get the wheels turning. None of that was explained leading up to this. None of that was explained during this in the match itself. The commentators were explaining this. So, hey, don't give Michael Cole any credit because usually he bugs me, but God bless you, Michael Cole, because you were saving this.
I guess you gave this match a reason to happen.
Yeah, that was about it. That was like just one of the examples. It happened a couple other times, but overall, this match was status quo of Superman punches, spears, and Claymore attempts.
That's about it.
I don't know what else to give it. Roman Reigns wins.
Didn't McIntyre take a nice bump or something through the table?
Yeah, I mean, that's how bad it was. Didn't even make my notes. I didn't care. Because again,
that's
if anything,
that's the true definition right there.
If Survivor Series meant anything this year, it meant I don't care. I don't care. Why do I care? You didn't make me care. WWE failed on making me care.
WWE failed on this pay-per-view, and because the whole meat and potatoes, the whole reason why I wanted to tune into this pay-per-view was for what happened after this match, the main event after the main event, and that even failed miserably. So our wrestling main event, for that to fail horribly too, where neither one of us gave a shit, where I don't even remember. I just remember seeing McIntyre taking a nice bump and going, wow, that's crazy. That's my only mental note of this match. It stunk.
They get lost in trying to make it like UFC, where you can just put guys against guys. You can take these guys in the same weight class. You can throw them against each other. You don't need to know why. You know why you're fighting? Because they told you to. That's all you need to see. But these guys are fighting for a ranking. These guys are fighting for a paycheck, literally. These guys are fighting for a title. They're fighting for clout. But in wrestling, it's not the same. You can't do that. That's why I care watching that. Hey, man, this guy, well, you know what? TJ Thompson over there knocked out another guy. He's coming up. He's going to be up in that, he's going to be above the prelim card. He's going to be in the mid card soon. And he's going to be in the main event. You get to watch this happen, but that's not how it happens in wrestling. It's not how it happens in WWE. Just because Drew McIntyre lost means nothing.
Right, and I understand we had to follow a formula for this pay-per-view. They wanted to make it champion versus champion in every aspect. And really, I don't know. Usually, if I like to criticize, I like to put in a better idea in its place. But for this, I don't know what WWE could have done to generate interest between why I would care that Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre were fighting. Besides what Michael Cole threw in that Paul Heyman wanted revenge, I can't think of anything else why I would care.
You don't. You know how they fix it is you go all the way back to the original idea of title versus title, brand versus brand. Nobody cares. That used to be called a little pay-per-view called Bragging Rights. And nobody watched that. Eric Todd, we watched that. It's been probably long enough. We didn't pay for that. We bounced around this before the WWE Network, and we watched it on some weird servers that, somebody else got it online. We found a link. What do you want from us? And it sucked then. I was mad I put my time into it. I didn't even put money into it. Those pay-per-views sucked. Why would you remake it on your old school top four or whatever you want to call them?
Right. This was always number 4 of the top 4.
This could have easily just been December's pay-per-view, and nobody would have cared.
Yeah, this, I don't know. It stunk. What else can we say?
It stunk, and I didn't care. That's what happened. Do you want to talk about this Undertaker nonsense?
How'd the ending happen again? Roman Reigns.
I don't even remember. I just got bored. I watched it twice, and I just don't remember. It just... Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman defeated Drew McIntyre. Technical submission, it says.
Oh, so Drew McIntyre passed out. He put him in that Roman lock or where the fuck he
was. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care. It was just bad. Bad. I went into it with a stink face.
And you left with a stink face.
Yeah.
Rikishi was rubbing his thong right on your nostrils.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had fun. I think I had fun. I remember it being fun because I had fun hanging out with you guys and talking shit about it. Now that we're breaking it down, man, this thing stunk double time.
But moving on.
Yeah, all right. So let's talk about
Roman
this.
Reigns is your Ultra champion. He beat Raw's champion.
Great. That 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee. Who gives a fuck? All right, so now you get the Undertaker gimmick.
All right, this package that they put together for the Undertaker. Wait, was that before or after all BSK and them came out? The package.
So all the guys came out first.
Okay, so we'll talk about that first. All right. This had so much potential, Brian. They brought out everybody possible, every alive member of BSK, RIP Yokozuna, he couldn't be there. And but they brought out Godfather. They brought out Rikishi.
The Godwins.
They brought out both of the Godwins. They brought out
Savio Vega.
They brought out Ric Flair. They brought out Shawn Michaels.
Mick Foley.
Yes, Mick Foley.
Kane in full regalia.
Yes, Kane wearing the wig and all because he's the mayor of Knox County.
Triple H.
There was so much potential in this. I would have bought this as a pay-per-view on its own if they just had an Undertaker 30-year blowout ceremony where you have events happening, you have speeches, make it like a Hall of Fame type thing.
You don't know how mad I was that these guys did not get to talk.
Bro, why did they even show up? These guys are all in their 50s and 60s for the most part. They flew in from God knows wherever the hell they're living now. And I'm sure they got paid. I'm sure they were taken care of.
Sure.
But what a waste of time. You got every single guy got an entrance. You got a ring full of people. Next thing you know, they're gone.
You get a package. They run a package on The Undertaker. One we've seen several times throughout the night, or maybe not the same one, but another one. Parts of the same, you know what I'm saying? These Undertaker packages, wonderful, great. The dead man, you get to hear Roddy Piper call, look at the size of that ham hock, and cool. It happened, and it was great, and the Undertakers did a lot for this business. He was, I loved him, and I hated him, and I liked him all in the same sentence. It just depended on what era of the Undertaker you were talking about and where I was at in my wrestling life. And then you come back from that, ring's empty. Except for Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon. Oh, boy, Vinnie Mac.
Poor Vinny. He's getting older. I think he needs to lay off of the hair dye and makeup and just kind of go with his natural look. And
man,
he was painted up like a corpse.
All right.
Creepily, I could see a dead Vince McMahon in what they had him done up like.
That's what, maybe it's part of the gimmick. You got The Undertaker, and he's got a literal animated corpse talking about him in the ring.
Yeah, I know.
But our listeners, all right, there was a movie back in 1994 starring Jim Carrey called The Mask. just put it in your Google machines, type Jim Carrey The Mask, and pull up images, and you'll see The Mask. It's his green makeup, goes down his jawline. That was Vince's makeup. Vince's makeup was caked on so hard, and it didn't match his skin tone. It looked like he was wearing a mask.
It looked
and those
brushed.
eyebrows.
Yeah. His eyebrows.
Oh, boy, them eyebrows. We had a field day on that boy's eyebrows on the Zoom.
Should have hit record on that boy.
Oh, my God. His eyebrows were drawn on by Michael J. Fox. They were just so off-center and zigzag, and they look like the Rocky Mountains were painted on his face. Oh, boy. Vince's eyebrows and his makeup could not have looked worse. The poor guy, he's in his 70s now. Just be yourself, Vinny.
Yeah, this thing he needs a touchback. Sure, you're on TV. You're going to have some makeup. It's going to happen. Just let go of the hair dye. Just be a silver-haired old man. Nothing about him looked natural. He looked strange.
I'll tell you one thing that looked natural on Vince. You only got to see it for a split second, but you got to see his hands for a split second, and those hands were Vince's hands. They were bulged and arthritis-ridden and just wrinkly and crackly, and That's probably what the rest of them looks like, and that's why they had to pump them full of the formaldehyde and wheel them out there.
So after now, we had upwards of damn near 10 guys introduced, standing around the ring. Boom, they're gone after a 1.5-minute video package. Vince is in the ring. Unfortunately, not looking so hot. He just needs to. He can be all right. He can fix this, but not looking so hot. He introduces The Undertaker. You get to hear that Vince voice, though. Man, did you get to hear that Vince voice?
I don't know how much of Mr. McMahon's voice, how many more times Vince can pull that off, because his voice is
fired. It hurts my voice just doing it now, and not even yelling it.
His voice is, I think he's reaching the limit on the Mr. McMahon voice, but he put in his work this time to introduce the Undertaker.
And then you get a long walk down the ramp of the Undertaker. Now it's got to be a long walk. I get it. I'm not mad at the Undertaker's long walk. People tease it. It's just it's at this point it's what you expect, right? The slow, right, ominous stroll, the music, the pyro, the whole thing. He comes out. He cuts his little promo, because that's all we can call it. I can't, in good sense here, call it a goodbye speech.
It was no more than something he would have done 10 years ago to promote his once-a-year match. He would have came out the Raw before, and he would have just said his token 3 or 4 lines, made his way out, and that's exactly what this was. To define it in one word would be disappointment.
Yeah, man. Like the Ultimate Warrior got to say a goodbye speech that night on Raw after the Hall of Fame. He came out and he had his whole thing going on. Hell, even Mark Henry's fake goodbye speech that he did with the salmon jacket on when he told John Cena to stay in the ring and then he beat the shit out of him. I remember more of that. Then I do this. This thing was rough. It wasn't a goodbye speech. It was just like, hey, very open ended. Very much you can buy that he just might come back and do another one.
I mean, yeah, that was what I was waiting for when I tuned into this pay-per-view, was the 30-year celebration, the final goodbye speech. That's what I was here for, and they just did not deliver. Taker gave just a standard cookie-cutter promo. He got down on one knee, raised his hand up to the Paul Bearer hologram.
That was pretty cool, though.
Which was cool. And then hooty hoo, he was out the gates and raised. You called the fist raise, and that was that. We get our 2020 WWE Entertainment. Blah blah blah.
That's it.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. Boom! It's a wrap. They really just shit the bed from top to bottom. At least they went out.
The more entertaining option, if you got 2 hours to burn, this was a 3-hour pay-per-view. If you got 2 hours to burn, just tune into the round 2 of the Stone Cold podcast, whatever it is on WWE Network, with Taker.
The Broken Skull Sessions.
Yes, Broken Skull Sessions, Undertaker Part 2. That's a good way to spend 2 hours. That was great. You get tons of stories from Taker, lots of drinking between them two, and it was genuine. It was just upfront, genuine. This goodbye speech that they put on one of their top 4 pay-per-views was just blah.
Meh. It was a YouTube promo. Could have cut it on YouTube and released it. It was an Instagram. It was a Reels. You gave him 30 seconds.
You or I could have pulled together $1,000 and got a 2-minute cameo speech from Taker. We could have wrote the script for him, and I think we could have, with our $1,000, we could have wrote a better goodbye speech and got it right there on Cameo from Taker.
It wasn't. Yeah, I just thought they could have done so much more. I thought they were going to have the guys say a thing, about a little moment that they had with Taker, even if it wasn't long. Mick Foley just says, like, well, I guess you won't throw me off any more cages. You know, just stab at the joke of getting thrown off. You know, Big Show, the BSK crew, like, they never got any love. Like, the Clique got love. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got love.
Make this a show. You got so much garbage on WWE. Why can't you just make Undertaker Goodbye celebration of 30 years? What, you flew everybody in. If they don't come up with something, if they didn't film something and plan to release it later, I'm just going to be even more pissed, because that was a waste of talent, a waste of time, a waste of money to bring all those guys in just to hug each other and dip out.
Yeah. That's it, man. It was a bona fide bummer of a pay-per-view. I have to go back. I don't even know what more to say. I was not... I'll be honest with you. I love doing this podcast. I have fun. But I wasn't looking forward to really talking about this one. I had some notes. It was no, like, the big high notes or this... Because there was no surprise. There was nothing left to be surprised on. Because it didn't...
Sandwich.
Didn't matter. So there's nothing to be surprised on. You go, okay, so one of them's going to win and nothing changes. Cool. It's like a Saturday morning superstars. Why are we wasting our time here? So, Eric, I don't know. We've been on here an hour and a half here. You got anything before we want to just call this one a night and try again next week, and hopefully we got something better going for us?
Not really. Just, I'm going to emphasize, go and check us out on Instagram. It's the KayFabe Smark. Brian over here, he's been being the workhorse. He's been posting reels like a madman. He's got old school content. He's got relevant content that was 30 years ago, 38 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And our reels have been picking up steam. They're entertaining as all hell. Check out our reels on Instagram, the KayFabe Smark.
Yeah, head on over there to the KayFabe Smark on YouTube. You can join us when we go live on Thursdays and get this recorded. You can also I'm putting together the compilations of the reels from the show, so there's going to be little clip episodes and things. Like and subscribe over there. Hit that notification bell. Be like a real YouTuber. Hit the notification bell. Subscribe. It's going to be over here. It's over here. Is it over here? Watch the next video. And then, yeah, we'll go live. You can come hang out. And then Facebook group, Instagram, the reels, and then also posting stuff on TikTok. Not sure if it's going to last. I don't know if they got to sell that thing or close it or whatever's going to happen over there. But, you know, if I'm making a reel, I'm throwing it on TikTok too. So it's over there. And there's some good conversations that happen in the TikTok chat. So those are fun. And that's that, man. Join us on the social medias. Share the podcast. Like it and share it and tell a friend and click a link and go to anchor.fm/thekayfabesmark. And also go over to audibletrial.com/thekayfabesmark and get a free audiobook, man. Eric, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram on my personal channel. That is, it's Eric, all one word. And I'm still dwindling over there on TikTok, just kind of putzing around. You can find my snoozing pibble Stella and myself making goofy videos once in a while. Our name on TikTok is Stella.hates.Eric.
There you go. And with that being said, Eric, what you got for us?
I got two things, Brian. First, never forget that Brian Cage lost clean to Tessa Blanchard.
He got it in on a Survivor Series show.
And number two, hooty hoo, we out the gates.